Thank you.
Did you talk with Mr. Granville?
No, he's not in right now.
Will he be back there soon?
Uh-huh. His wife's gonna have him call me here.
Did you tell her what you wanted?
Yeah, she seemed real excited. I think there's a real good chance it'll drive in and see me.
Well, suppose that he wants you to come out to the ranch.
Well, then I'll just tell him a car broke down.
Okay, I'm gonna call Kate and tell her the good news, and you better call the pilot.
What for?
Well, if we get a chance to talk to Stephen, then we'll be able to take him home with us tonight.
Honey, slow down. Now, Steve, we haven't found him yet. I don't want you building yourself up for a big disappointment.
I'm not going to be disappointed.
We've become close before and we've lost them, right?
But Barrett's at the ranch. He's turned in the rental car, and he doesn't even know that we're here in Edmonds.
I know. Just take things one step at a time and don't get your hopes up, okay?
I'm gonna call Kate anyway, though.
Oh, listen. Yeah, call her, collect, and I'll pay her back, all right? Here you go.
Miss, I was talking to the man who just left, and he said that Mr. Granville hired on a Mr. Marshall, and that they were in the Army together in Vietnam. Mr. Marshall's going to live in Mr. Granville's brother's house on the ranch.
Are you sure?
The man works for Mr. Granville's brother in the hardware store, so, I mean, it seems like he'd know what he's talking about, don't you think?
Thank you very much. You've been real helpful.
Keep my ears open.
Thanks. Let's drive out to the ranch right now.
No, I want to talk to Granville first.
Okay, I'll call Kate.
Okay. How are things at home?
Oh, Kate was so excited about us finding Stephen.
How's Lurleen?
She's better. She slept most of the day. Rena's with her now.
Did you talk to Rena?
Of course. She sends her love. Kate told me that the car rental people called and told us that Barrett had returned the car. I said we already knew that. I'm glad they kept their word.
There's a phone call for you, Mr. Connor.
Thank you. Hello?
Your order will be ready in a minute.
Thanks.
Oh, Mr. Granville, I understand you're in the market for some Morgan mares.
Yes, I am.
Well, I have some stock I'd like to talk to you about. Could we get together tonight?
Well, why don't you come out to the ranch?
I'd really like to. My car broke down. It's in the garage right now for repairs. I'm in the coffee shop on Main Street, if you could come over here.
Oh, how long are you going to be in town?
I'm going to have to leave first thing in the morning.
Oh. Okay, I'll drive on into the coffee shop and we'll have a talk.
Okay, great. I'll be here. Thank you. He's coming into town.
I'm going into town to talk to this Ryan Connor about the Morgan mares.
What's wrong, John?
I'm not sure, but I think this Mr. Connor doesn't know the first thing about Morgan mares. Can't figure what he's up to.
I appreciate you coming into town and talking to us.
You're Barrett's ex-wife.
Yes, I am. How did you know that?
Barrett and I were stationed together in Vietnam. I saw your picture every day for a year. No way I could forget such a beautiful face.
Thank you.
Well, I guess you've obviously realized that we didn't ask you here to talk about horses.
I figured that out on the phone.
You see, Ginny and I are married now, and Barrett's tricked Steve into believing that Ginny doesn't love him and that we don't want him.
Barrett told me he had custody of Steve.
No, that's not true.
How is Stephen?
Seems fine. A little shy, but seems in real good health.
Does he seem happy?
He's not particularly happy, no. Something kind of sad about him, come to think of it.
Mr. Granville, Barrett is not well. He's been under psychiatric care for quite some time now.
I suppose you know he was in a Cambodian prison camp for 5 years.
I know something about it. He didn't want to discuss it.
And everyone thought he was dead.
I did too.
I didn't want to accept that. And when I finally did, Ryan and I met after that and fell in love. We were going to be married, but suddenly Barrett returned home.
Did Barrett know about the wedding?
I explained everything to him. Then I decided to cancel my engagement to Ryan and chose to stay with Barrett.
And Barrett never forgave Ginny for giving up on him and falling in love with me.
I'm not surprised at his reaction.
I honestly tried to make that marriage work.
In Vietnam, I never had a conversation with Barrett that he didn't mention you. was like an obsession. I know how much he loved you.
Well, as much as he loved me then, he hates me now. All he wants to do is hurt me, and that's why he's taken Steve away from me.
Steve seems to have gone willingly.
Barrett tricked him.
He found an old letter that Ginny had written to him the day that she discovered that she was pregnant with Steve.
The first page of the letter was news about the ranch and the fact that I was pregnant. The second page was all about how happy we'd be and how many children we'd have.
So he substituted the first page. And he wrote about how Ginny didn't love Steve and that there was no room in her life for him anymore and that she was going to devote her life to me and raising our children.
He gave Steve the letter the day that Ryan and I got married. At a time when Steve was particularly vulnerable. And Steve believed it.
It doesn't sound like something Barrett would do. Certainly not to his own son.
He's changed, Mr. Grant. He's ill. All he cares about is hurting me. I don't think he even cares about Stephen. I want my son back. Will you help us?
Steve, it's getting cold out. You know, you better put a hat on.
I'm fine. Is Mr. Granville and Dad back yet?
Mr. Granville went into town to meet with a man from Texas about some horses.
Texas?
Looks like we're being invaded by Texans, doesn't it?
They breed a lot of good horses in Texas.
Well,
We should have seen some of them on the Marshall Ranch.
this Mr. Connor apparently has some Morgan mares he's interested in selling us.
Connor?
Yes, Ryan Connor. Don't tell me you know this man.
I think I do, Mrs. Granville.
What makes you think so?
Well, my mom married a man named Ryan Connor.
Did he raise horses?
No?
Then it must be someone else.